And in Washington State, here with me now to talk about this and everything else, Martin O'Malley, former Democratic candidate for president and governor of Maryland, now a Clinton supporter. Former Arizona Governor Jan Brewer, who backs Donald Trump. Ken Cuccinelli, former Virginia Attorney General, who has endorsed Ted Cruz. And Nina Turner, former Ohio State Senator and backer of Bernie Sanders. Governor Brewer, let me talk to you first. Some tough words from President Obama, calling Donald Trump a charlatan and a flim-flam man. Do you think that this ultimately might hurt him, Donald Trump?
No, I don't believe it. President Obama just always comes tearing after Republicans constantly, calling names and calling people bigots and racists, and that's their big comeback, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
That's actually an interesting point, though.
To see a president speak like that is offensive.
But we've heard President Obama this will be the third presidential election where President Obama has understandably gone after the Republican nominee. Twice they were challenging him directly. Is there kind of like a built-in numbness that the American public might have to this, given that he's gone after Mitt Romney and John McCain, and now it's Donald Trump? I mean, maybe they just tune it out.
And me.
No, I think
he went after you? Is that what you're saying?
There's something very, very different here, Jake. And
Okay.
Governor Brewer, President Obama doesn't say this about all Republicans, but he does say rightly that Donald Trump is a bigot. Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump, in fact, is making fascist appeals. That's why many self-respecting Republicans are not supporting Donald Trump for president. Look, being president of the United States is the toughest job in the world. And I can tell you, as someone who has worked with Secretary Clinton and competed against her, that she is a tough person who's ready to do this job. Donald Trump is an unstable charlatan who is appealing to the worst instincts in people. And I believe ultimately the American people are going to reject that. This is a very different sort of candidacy. This is not the party of Lincoln.
Martin.
Okay, Governor
Martin,
Brewer.
Yes, Governor Brewer.
We need to discuss policy, and every
I'm
time
trying to do that. Let's talk about immigration, Governor.
With President Obama and Hillary Clinton, every time you disagree with them, it doesn't matter which subject it is, you're a bigot or you're a racist.
No, that's not
and
true.
And I'll talk immigration until we go home tomorrow night.
Let me bring in Ken Cuccinelli.
Let's talk about immigration.
Governor, let me take one break here for 1 second. I want to bring in Ken
Governor Brewer is
Cuccinelli.
absolutely right about that. This is a fallback when you have a president who cannot defend his policies and their outcomes. And so he jumps immediately to the race card, racist card in particular. It's a common tactic for Democrats.
But have you endorsed Donald Trump?
I expect to vote for him in November. So,
you will vote.
But I have seen this. I've seen this tactic. It's not November yet. I've seen this tactic over and over and over. We've all seen it, and frankly, the media plays along with it. They publish it, and it's the first question we're talking about, gives it legitimacy. Look, I supported someone else in the nomination.
We were just playing a quote from President Obama.
I understand that. He's got plenty. What you cover matters, and he's got plenty of inflammatory statements for the Dems to go after.
That's very unfair to say that about the president.
Well, I'm not saying that about the president. I'm saying about Donald Trump. He's got plenty of inflammatory statements.
The president doesn't go off every day calling people bigots. But what he has said about bigotry and what Mr. Trump is shaking up within the American people is very real. And as a leader, somebody who wants to be the next president of the United States of America, he does have a responsibility not to inflame. Now, on the other side of that, though, as Americans, we do have to deal with racism. I mean, Mr. Trump didn't put a sleeper spell on folks who voted for him. I'm not saying everybody who voted for him are racist, but we have some deep-seated racism in this country that we need to deal with. But to say that the president plays to that, when Mr. Trump is the one that called him a is the leader of the birther movement, trying to delegitimize his presidency, you want to talk about race? This is real, but the president is on to something that we don't have time for this.
Let me ask you a question, Governor Brewer. I get your point that every time, in your view, that Republicans do or say something that Democrats don't like, Democrats accuse them of being racist.
Right.
But have you heard anything from Donald Trump that you consider to be, at the very least, racially tinged or offensive on a racial level?
I think that Mr. Trump is new to the political arena, and that he has said things that he had to walk back a little bit, things that I wasn't comfortable with. But dang it, I get fed up that we hear over and over and over again from the President of the United States, that every time somebody wants to support the Constitution and the rule of law, that we are out there because we are racist and bigots. And we that lived in Arizona have lived with diversity our whole life.
He doesn't
and
say
it's
that, Governor.
Unbelievable that they just constantly.
But what about that
Hillary does the same thing. Frickin' Hillary is out there. It's ridiculous.
Let's look at what Donald Trump actually says. I mean, in the recent case, I mean, he was running that con and the flim-flam to try to rip people off with Trump University.
Oh, please,
and the judge
Martin.
sitting in judgment on that case, Governor, was a judge whose parents happened to be of Mexican descent.
Not happen to be, they are.
And
They're
Donald
from Mexico.
Trump.
Their parents are from Mexico.
But the judge was born in the United States. And Donald Trump tried to get that, tried to say the judge isn't qualified because he's of a Mexican background.
Was that one of the...
Donald Trump hates Mexicans, that means that judge can't do his job. Now, surely, Governor, you can't agree that that is proper behavior for a man who's running for president.
Governor Brewer, I'm going to give you the last word, and then we have to take a break.
In that respect, I think that Judge Corral has a stunning reputation. And I don't believe that Donald Trump meant it in the manner that he said it. I believe that he felt that he was being treated unfairly in regards to this issue.
Because he hates Mexicans?
No.
I can't believe you're supporting Donald Trump, Jan.
Let's take a very quick break. Got to pay some bills. We're going to come back. Stay with us. We have a rather intense debate going on here. Also, if you want